join my live stream. I am actually live streaming my OBS, so that's pretty cool. Using OBS as a camera. Virtual camera for the win. All right.
Little up in the corner, Danny. That's nice.
What?
The little up in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually nice. I like it.
Yeah. She is nice. This is one of my oldest standing guilds. Hee. It's pretty cool. Let me make sure. I'm gonna send a @ in here. All right, welcome guys. It is May. We are going to be discussing a couple things and a couple of changes that are going to be happening within the raid teams, and also discussing a little bit about the Mythic Plus teams, also discussing a little bit about establishing the PvP league, the weekend PvP league that I want to do, and seeing if anybody has interests in that. There's a few folks that have seen that we are, what's the word I'm looking for? That we have some new taggable roles, so reaction roles. Let me bring this over this way so that you guys can see it. All right, so we're going to start with that. We have some new reaction roles, guys. And in that reaction, we just had roles before, whether you were a tank, healer, DPS, or served as all those. You could select whichever ones you wanted. There is one for folks that want to do Mythic Plus. It has one of the most reactions in there. So if you want to be, available to tag for Mythic Plus, you want to make sure you tag this up. We also have our Collectors Brigade. Which I'm part of. Our Collectors Brigade is going to be doing all of the transmog hunts, the mount hunts, the pet hunts, all that kind of stuff that we collect. Achievements, all that kind of stuff. We have a couple of achievement runs coming as well. So, how am I not? Okay. And now we've recently added WoW classes. So you guys want to make sure that you tag the class that you consider yourself to be kind of an expert in, or well versed in. You can tag multiple ones, as you can see here. So I really do want everybody to do that, and there's a specific reason that I'll talk about why we're doing that. PvP is new, so if you are interested in doing PvP, this is something that I'm going to be starting to work on. So guys, do make sure you join my live stream. So it's not just talking. There's an actual presentation, PowerPoint. No. But we are going to be starting to kind of, get going on creating some PvP teams back again. We used to have quite the PvP presence back in the day, many years ago. And I'd like to be able to at least get some of that back, maybe not the full 40-man PvP team. But we can do some of that. That'd be great. I'd really like to focus on battlegrounds, but if anybody really wants to put together an arena team, that would be fantastic. We used to have some really killer arena captains back in the day that really ran those teams, those teams very, very well. And just had a lot of fun, and we were, this back in Manaroth days too, and some of it was in Bleeding Hollow as well, but most of it was Manaroth. And those teams were just amazing. We loved. I mean, my late husband loved having those around. We have also added for everyone's. I've been requested this of me for a while now is adding the WoW professions, taggable WoW professions. So if you want to be able to provide services to your guildies, you want to make sure you tag that. So up in the reaction roles, make sure you get yourself tagged up so that people can at a certain profession. And if you have a guild order, you can notify anybody that is a blacksmith, a jewel crafter, whatever the case may be. You can notify them, hey, I have this order in the guild orders for you to pick up, for anybody to pick up, right? So definitely want to do that, get that organized, and so people aren't waiting 3 days for their goddamn axe. Cough. Okay. Even though I know Koff has like all the weapons, I, as a blacksmith, have all of the plate gear, like armor. She's really an armor smith on Dannylin. But I know Mez has leatherworking. He's got that pretty max. There's other folks in here that can do things. I also want to start seeing us put some alchemy requests in there. I know some of us, I know Koff and I both have alchemy. So like if you wanted to get your potions and flasks and all that good stuff done through the guild, that would be great to have that so that you can, support the guild and also get your consumables. That goes for cooking stuff or whatever else consumables you may need. Okay. Enchants and sort of, and I'll get to enchants in a minute. But yes, that is also new here. All right. That is going to segue into a couple of guild events. Obviously, we had the guild meeting for today. That is up here. We are also going to be hosting some achievement runs. God is going to be leading those for us. We're going to be doing Glory of the Liberation of Undermine Raider at the end of June. But before that, we are going to go ahead and start with Glory of the Raider, which is the original one from Wrath of the Lich King. So make sure you guys are signed up for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Bring your liquor. We had a lot of fun doing this for Nerebar Palace, and it was really great to have that mount. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And so we're going to be doing a series around the glory achievements. So starting, of course, with the first one, which is Wrath of the Lich King, and moving forward from there. Every I would say once a month or something like that. We'll probably do that. So we'll eventually meet up all the way up to, maybe doing another one of these later on, right? But you do get a nice mount out of it. And you get to hang out with your guildies, get to know people that you don't see too often because we have all of the raid teams kind of converging to do that. So real fun stuff there. We are also going to be doing Pride Parade in June. I'm going to put that up there. It's going to be somewhere in the middle of June. I've been working with Blizzard to try to do something special. But I'm not sure what they'll be able to do for me just yet. And I am going to be working with the No Hate campaign.
That's cool.
Yeah, I do it every year. I think a couple of years ago, I worked with the Trevor Project. I've worked with It Gets Better Project, the Human Rights Campaign. And this year I'm working with the No Hate campaign. So we are going to be doing that sometime in the middle of June. And it's an actual parade, guys. We're going to meet and we're actually going to use our ground mounts, which, let's be honest, not many of us still use, right? Unless we're forced to and undermined. We're going to it's going to be a complete parade from Dornagal all the way to Ashkajet, not with a portal. So, and we want all of the colors represented, and you get to, support your LGBTQIA brother and sisters, and even if you are not one part of those letters yourself, it's always great to support as straight allies. I'm a firm believer in that. So that's going to happen. sometime in the middle of June. I got to get the dates from No Hate. I had really wanted to do something with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation for May, but I just couldn't, with starting this new job and everything, I just couldn't get that done. But typically in May is Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Month, and yo girl has cystic fibrosis, so I tend to want to always help my younglings, if you will. So we usually work with Claire's Place Foundation, and we'll see if we could do that next year if I can't get it done by the end of this month. But those are like the main events. Now, moving on from there, let me minimize this. I want to talk a little bit about attendance. I want to talk a little bit about raid rosters. I want to talk a little bit about how we are doing as far as our rating, and what can we do to make sure we improve. Now, what I started doing is I started adding people or characters, because some of these are actual raiders that have secondary characters, or they can swap, right? Or they are not part of the team and they're just cleared for bench, right? So that's kind of, I started putting that together. And as long as we can keep up, with what's minimally required, you'll be able to be part of this. We do got to work on some of our eye levels, but at some point, that all kind of tends to even out a little bit, especially if you're doing some mythic pluses and stuff like that and getting some gear from those instances, right? Okay, so I'm going to talk about Olympians, and we're going to talk about some changes to the Olympians team. And I wouldn't say they're changes necessarily, just more clarity and definition around how the raid management works and how, rank structures work, et cetera, et cetera. I am not part of this team, even though I do sometimes fill in. I recognize that sometimes when I fill in as GM, some things happen that possibly may not have happened otherwise. But, they do it's not like they come out of nowhere. They're, some of the things that happened last Tuesday with SB and Spicy, it had been a recurring problem. And I just got kind of fed up. But now, in talking with my officers, we've come up with a system where we can track things a little bit better and be able to, set clear expectations about things, and then have a way to deal with anybody, not fulfilling those obligations. Because, if you think about it, nobody gets paid to play, right? But if you really want to access high-level content, it just requires a certain level of commitment. There's just, these raids are tuned to 20 players, and you really do have to be mindful of other people's time and energy and how much they put into it, because they're not getting paid either. I think it's a necessary thing to be mindful of those things and not deliberately disrespect that. Okay. Koff does an amazing job at strategy and, pivoting and changing things up and trying new things. And he is very open to new ideas and stuff from you guys. We keep our Discord for this raid on voice activated, open for everybody to chime in and talk and communicate. We really want to be able to get through content, and we have struggled through that. And what I really want to see from everybody is really commit to being on time. Even, if you're on time, you're late kind of thing is a very military kind of thing. But to be fair, that's kind of the name of the game. I see some folks being what I like to call repaired and prepared. And they're there at 7:40, 7:30 sometimes, ready for those invites. They're getting their consumables together just in case we don't have them. We don't always have them. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But we need to be very, very cognizant that there's 19 other people waiting for you. And that is going to be more closely watched going forward. And we are going to be, taking attendance. We always have, but we haven't really, I want to say, been very strict with that. So, there has been a lot of, we're not saying you can't take excused absences. If you let us know, that's why we have a vacation tracker. People go on vacations. You let us know. We're cool. We have time to pivot, to get some bench into those spots, or to look for friends that can fill those spots, which is why we have the friends tag in this Discord, right? But we really do need to. There's a lot of L's, down here, and we need to be more cognizant of being on time. Okay, so this is going to be more. Scrutinized, taking attendance, make sure everybody's there. If you are part of the Mythic team, that raid cannot flex down to tune to 19 people. It is tuned to 20, and your presence is required for us to keep going forward. Okay? So I and our officers came up with, a way to do that. We're calling it a 3 strikes rule. And we are going to be, asking all of our members to please, and I don't think it's a whole lot, to be honest, to please let us know. We can do it in Discord, okay? We have a Mythic Raid chat in Discord that you guys can openly talk in and say, @leaders, I'm going to be late. I will be arriving 15, 20 minutes late. Or I had an emergency come up and I can't make it tonight. I need at least 1 hour before pull time, which is 8 p.m. Pacific, to be able to kind of scurry around trying to find a way to fill that spot. Because now Cough and I got to go and ask friends. If we can't find them internally, we got to go externally and ask friends. We got to shuffle. And that deserves us at least being notified of that. So for anybody that's has done that, where you've given me enough time to kind of, find somebody else, thank you so much. It just shows that you guys really care about us as a team and about the time that we put in to get everybody organized and going and trying to hit these goals. Okay. So the @leaders function, if it's open to everybody can tag @leaders. And so I really expect that to be the way going forward. If you directly message me, it may not get to where it needs to go. I know some folks directly message me about those things, or they directly message Cough about those things, but that's just not how we're going to do it going forward. I really do need, unless you want to give me more information, you can leave a note personally to any one of the leaders. You could say, I'm send a DM. This is what's really going on with me, and then in the leaders chat or in the Mythic chat, put @leaders. I will not be available tonight. And you can elaborate with any one of us, right? Because then we can communicate that at any time later. But we just need to be a little bit more cognizant about attendance.
So that thing I did earlier was the right way. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people were doing that anyway, right, to begin with. So just know that is what I am expecting. That is what Cough is expecting. what everybody in this leadership is expecting you to do if your name is on the primary roster. Bench. Okay, if you are not just a swap, meaning character swap, you're an actual player in here and you can swap to other characters or swap to other specs. If you are in bench, right, and you're not going to be available, you don't have to communicate or anything like that, but you do have to at least go into the raid management area in Discord and go to your signups and just put yourself as, absent. So you just come here and, hey, absent, okay? If you really can't be counted on that day as a backup. That goes for anybody that makes it onto the bench for Mythic. Koff, do you have anything you want to add to that specific, attendance and all that kind of stuff?
No, I mean, I think you said it all right. Just, it's a lot to, last minute fill, especially with the roster issues we've been having, right? As most of us are aware, sitting around getting ready to start a raid, and then we're waiting, someone's a late message or whatnot. So it does take a lot of time to make sure that we're it's a lot of effort to make sure that we're starting on time. So any the messages, while they might seem a little like annoying or whatnot, it really does help us get organized and make sure that we're not sitting around waiting for 30 minutes trying to get started on time. So that's it.
Absolutely. So I do want to make sure and reiterate that it is very important for the Olympians team to do that because of the static raid, right? Like that is, it's a little bit more flexible for heroic and normal raid teams, okay? So, because there are flex raids, right? So they kind of adjust up and down. So, if you are on, but it's still the same thing. If you are on the primary roster, okay, and you are on and the bench will work the same way, right? Like, that's fine. Just let me know. The same thing for the demigods. If you are on the roster and you're not going to be there, I expect you guys to at least let me know. Hey, I'm not going to be there. Again, we say, please, 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 at least 60 minutes before raid time. If an emergency absolutely happens, you need to, and it's like right up against raid time. I don't want to see that happen too much because, to be honest, I mean, you shouldn't be having an emergency every fucking week like that. Like, what kind of chaos do you have at home that's happening, right? But, I really do want to emphasize how important it is for the Olympians because of the static raid. Okay, so now, so we will be kind of like, noting that. So like, we'll be noting that here on the members list. You can scroll over to the right all the way, and we'll be putting that there. And at some point, if you just get one strike or whatever, something happens, we are fine. And we can let that kind of fall off, and it's going to be at the raid leader's discretion, right? When that happens. And, eventually that can be erased or whatever, but we're just, we're really trying to make a system out of it so that everybody knows how things function and you guys know ahead of time how things function. And there's not like a surprise. Oh, why was I benched? Well, there's not going to be like that kind of surprise, or it's not going to be a surprise. Like say someone new comes in and they take a look at, how many times a certain person has been late, then without notice, without anything. So like, that, they don't necessarily know that, but, at least here it's going to be visible. I'm very big on, visibility. So, who just joined? we missed some people. Okay.
Yes. I had to relog.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So that's how it's going to be going forward for all raid teams. All raid teams, okay. It's not just the Olympians, but the Olympians is where it really matters the most, just because it's a static raid and not a flex raid, right? But I do expect you guys to at least be able to communicate. Use the vacation tracker, and we're tracking these things here. Some people are moving. Hey, real life happens. We are all about that. You're going on vacation, that's fine. Enjoy yourself, but just, hey, just give us a heads up, right? Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is the Olympians having these 3 columns where if you look over at the profits, that doesn't quite really exist. Okay. But in the Mythic team, I really need you guys to have all your enchants, to have all of your gems, and work on your set bonuses, right? Like, so if you don't have that, or if you're not using the 5th piece, that's not going to count. You need to at least have 4 for your 4-piece bonus, unless there's some reason why that's not, optimal. But you guys have to get your enchants. You have to get your gems, okay? And that also goes for anybody that's going to be in the bench, okay? Solar, he has to get his enchants. This must be rank 3. No scrubs. I swear to God, I'm going to play the TLC song. Right? And, you guys got to get your gems. And also, when you get new pieces of gear, it takes 5 seconds to get that kind of stuff done. And the only reason that you probably don't get that done is maybe some of the stuff can be expensive. Yeah, I get it, and you need to make a little money, but, to be able to afford some of that, that's fine. There are death rolls for that. But at any rate, let's try to make sure that we get all of our stuff enchanted, all of our stuff gemmed. You should at least have 6 gems slotted into your items. Magnificent settings are like, I don't know, 200 gold, something like this. So there's really no excuse for not having that. Okay. The other thing that I am going to be, I've upped our goals, right? Because we have almost we definitely got 1.8 million in the HPS, and we were really, really close to the 2 million in DPS. So I've upped it up a little bit more. So as we start getting more eye levels, so specifically with the gear boosts that we got, with heroic and myth being 8 of 8 now, it makes sense, right? We want to try to keep everybody pushing forward. And the reason why I particularly like collective HPS, collective DPS is because, as much as these classes can fluctuate, one patch can, downgrade a certain class and upgrade another class. And, we really are looking at the team as a whole. So that, nobody has to feel terrible if they're, not up there in their parses just yet. It could be something that's, not really anything under your control. It could be like, friggin' Blizzard loves to, nerf and neuter certain things like they did with augmentation. So, those kinds of things can happen. So as long as we are meeting that collective DPS, we're doing okay. So these are the important numbers that you look at. Over on this side, what I have said, I am adding, hey, this is our kill goal. It's Rick Reverb. I don't know why we have that twice. It's Rick Reverb. And the last White Fest report is here. And, that you can look at for any insights you may need into specifically a certain pull. It's going to give you a full report. You have the ability to go into WoW Analyzer from there and be able to look even at timelines. You can look at it as single table. You can kind of see everything in here, which is very visible. There's no hiding. So be aware and utilize these tools. They're there for a purpose. They're there for a reason. So definitely utilize that. Are there any questions so far on anything we've covered?
Yeah, how do you get 9 enchants?
There's
What do you mean?
2 rings, boots, legs. There is a chest, weapons, a cloak, wrist.
And the wrist, and that's all I can count.
What do you mean? There's also engineers. That's not the minimum, though. The minimum is... Hold on. Where the hell did this go? Hold on. Did it? Oh, yeah, there we go.
Because I just saw that mine was red. It said 7, and then some people had 9, and I'm like, I have no clue what the other enchants I'm missing are, or I would have them.
9 requires you to be a dual wielder and get 2 weapons.
Yes.
If you don't do
It's
wield, the
8.
best you can do is 8.
8.
8 for
Yeah.
sure. So, like, if you look at this is our team specs. We get this from WoW Audit. You have to be a certain rank to see it, but nonetheless, you can kind of see where everyone is with their enchants. Here's main hand, offhand, cloak, chest, wrists, leg, feet, ring 1, ring 2, and then your jewelry sockets. Yes.
I can see that I'm red, and I just looked at this, and I'm red on my wrist, but I have my wrist enchanted.
It only tracks R3, rank 3 enchants. So if that's coming up, you got to look, because there's probably a better rank 3 upgrade. Maybe it's like a 587 enchant, and it should be a 610.
I have a question because, there's so many different pant enchants and stuff that are pretty close or up to discretion, or that I don't know if the tracker really takes into account is it gonna flag only if it's not only one type?
It is looking for the top tier. It is looking for the top tier. That top tier can be, so if I come over here and I go to, where's my exchange? Under mine exchange. Okay. Bleeding Hollow. Okay, let me go on. Go ahead.
This is current expansion only, right? Not... Okay.
Yeah. So, if you are, let's just look at cloak. Search. Okay. It's doing its thing. So you'll see item levels, right? The 610, there's the 595s, right? There's a 580. There's a 415s, right? That are rank 3, but anything that is not rank 3 610 gets flagged. Yeah.
Yeah. I had the same thing, Pip, on my Demon Hunter for a while, that I was using a rank 3, but I didn't realize I was using last season's rank 3.
Right.
Oh, that must be what my problem is, because I have 8 enchants, and I can't figure out what the deal is, but it must be last season's or something.
Yep. You just got to go through your enchants and look and make sure that you're using the 610. Right. Yeah.
But we don't have access to this part, right?
No. It's tied to guild access. So the ranks in the game, which for the majority of those ranks, I don't even use them as guild ranks because I just use them to organize who's going to get guild repairs turned on or off. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird in that sense, but raid leaders have access. This is why I've pulled this into here and I update it on Saturdays, or Laura's going to be updating it on Saturdays. Right. I put some notes in there. Okay. And then when it comes to that, just make sure that you guys are, double checking your stuff. if you need to find, I'll tell you that if you need to find, there's max roll. Well, I kind of like max roll. But WoW meta to me is like the better one because it'll show you, like for example, warrior protection. Let's go there. I'll show you all the enchants. It shows you what's the most popular use out there, right? So it's showing you what gems are the most popular. 61% of the protection warriors are using this gem. It'll also give you some gem builds. I guess a lot of people are either using that or this or that. But it'll also go with like back enchants. You can kind of see which one is the most used. And you get the name, which is what you'll be looking for, right? So like if you're searching up here and you're searching in the game, let me get out of that, right? You'll see what they're like costing. And some of these enchants can be pricey. In my opinion, like I said, start utilizing the @ profession mentions and see if you can get them done in the guild, right? So that could help you. But you'll see like 75% of people are using the 2040 leech, right? So you could kind of see at wowmeta.com what are the popular things being used out there, but also you just get like the actual, well, this one doesn't give you the enchant name, but it gives you the stats that you're going to be looking at, right? So take a look at that because yes, a lot of people are utilizing maybe season 1 enchants and not the rank 3 for this season. So that happens. Your jewelry sockets kind of important.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
The event helm enchant, are you tracking that? Which is the DPS scheme.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's just going to be on WoW audits side. So they'll update all of this for that, for that purpose. And when they do,
to be clear, we should be going for that, right?
I mean, we should be. If it's an enchant that's going to help you do more DPS output, hell yeah, you should, or HPS or whatever, So yeah, I mean, we're forcing Cough to do it.
I hate it.
Absolutely hates it.
There is quick question. Some of this has not been like the other where you're at right now hasn't been updated completely, correct?
No. Yes, it has.
That's weird because Rudy asked a question and I was looking and on one screen it shows he's got everything enchanted, but on this it says he's missing one. But the other screen he's all green.
You mean on this one?
Yeah, on that one you see enchants, he's got 7, it's red, but if you go to the other one and go across pretty, everything's marked.
Oh, that's I updated it yesterday. So if there was a change to that between yesterday and today, I have not updated that yet. I will, but I have not updated that yet. Okay? So
there you go, Critty.
You want to look is at this right here. Yeah. I can't, I'll get with Gail about that because I would love for Gail to kind of match these two things and pull that information in because he can do a lot of Python and stuff like that to above my pay grade. But yeah, I updated usually on like Saturdays or Sundays or something like that. And when after all the raids are done, I kind of update all these numbers. But yeah, there's no other way for me to give you guys this unless I put you up to a certain rank, and I don't want to mess with that. So I'm just trying to pull in, what matters the most. So like even here, like if you're looking at this, you're seeing, some people, Canada's already locked in 2 vaults, like 2 vault slots, just today. And Cough is slacking. Cough is slacking. But yeah, so some of this is just not available to everybody, but we try to bring in the stuff that's most important in here for us as a team. Yeah. Any other questions on this? Okay. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the heroic raid for the Olympians. And I'm going to talk about what's changing in that regard. As of today, the heroic skip is deprecated from the Olympians teams on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Anybody that needs items, I put up a poll, and there was only a few people that replied. Anyone that needs items from those bosses is going to either come on Wednesday, where you have a better chance because we are still using Loot Council in our guild. So you can come Wednesdays and Fridays, okay? Or you can pug it to, a possible chance of 1 in 30, right? That you'll get it. You'll get that item that drops, right? So those are your choices when it comes to heroic level pieces. There are other ways to get those pieces now with the dinars. So I want to say this about the dinars. If you are going to get a heroic piece, make sure it's Gallywix. Make sure it's, Mugsy. Or something that's, best in slot, right? Out of those last 2 bosses. And then get 1 piece. Do not spend all of your dinars on heroic shit, right? We need to move forward in the Olympians team to get as many of those bosses down so that your dinar options start to open up at the myth level. So my recommendation, and you can tell me to fuck off, my recommendation is to basically make sure that you only spend dinars on 1 heroic piece that is like really rare, Jaster Diamond, Mugsy's Jug, whatever, Galio Bottle Service, those kinds of, important pieces that you don't necessarily are going to be able to access for a while till this team can actually, kill those bosses in Mythic. Yeah. So that is what's going to happen tonight. You guys are going to go into straight into the Mythic raid. And then the other part of what we're doing tonight, I think, is we are going to go ahead and kill Vexy, Cauldron, and then work on Rick Reverb. And then that raid ID is going to be extended the following week. So next Tuesday, you guys are going to work on getting more bosses down. This is a prog guild. It's supposed to be a prog team. And we are not spending enough time progging. We're getting really close on Rick Reverb, and that boss should be down by now. And so Koff has agreed this is what he wants to do. And I said, yep, I'm cool with it. And we want to open it up to... first, I'm going to hand the baton over to Koff if he wants to elaborate on this and his reasonings for stuff. You there, the Koff?
Yeah, I was muted. I mean, I guess the reasoning for it, right? We're quite a bit into this season right now, right? So the gear, again, you guys have heard me say before, the gear is more of a want now at this point. Like, I want this gear from Heroic Gallery. It's not needed at this point to kill basically anything in Mythic. A lot of us are high 670s, which was essentially the old cap before the item level upgrades. So it's really, people were killing Mythic Galley obviously before being max gear. So it's really just trying to speed up the time or give us more time for progging and for making our way through Mythic. So, and then on top of it, it also serves another benefit, making, like Danny said, that you can prog or you can pug the myth or the heroic skip, right? But if you go on Wednesday and Friday, it also, allows us to help the heroic team get their AOTC, right? Because they're still trying to get that, and we can we can help more people get AOTC, and open up that for them as well. So yeah, it's just, again, really just trying to speed things up and give us more time on progging Mythic, because I'd like to get through Sprocket and first Rick this week and then Sprocket next week. That would be ideal. So that way, we can go into Styx and Bandit and whatnot. And but it's just going to take a lot of locking in, paying attention, doing for new bosses, right? Being prepared, watching the videos, watching guides, asking, getting on a little bit early if you can, asking questions if you have that before we get into raid, because want to be using the raid time more efficiently. We've been doing pretty good in the Mythic team about, if we have a wipe, repairing quick, or resetting quickly and going. So really just want to keep that up and make sure especially for new bosses, right? Because I know there's a lot more questions usually on new bosses. So that's the goal for the next little bit here. But yeah, that's the reason why we're not doing the skip anymore.
I have a question also about the extending cough. Are there going to be certain bosses we kill that will ever start over again, or is it just going to be extended until the whole thing's clear?
What was that?
So he's asking if you're going to, we're going to extend the raid lockout, right? So this is a raid lockout. So we're going to extend the raid lockout. Is there going to be at some point where you say, hey, let's re-clear? Will you take it like every couple of weeks that we then re-clear the bosses we've downed, or
Yeah. So
milestones.
Yeah. So I think when, a good point for that is when we get Sprocket down, right? Going and doing the 4 bosses weekly for a while will be good, because again, that's the next vault slot. So that's kind of how we'll do it, is we'll raid lock it until we get, the next vault slot, and that's how it'll progress through. And we'll do that for a while. Until most people have gotten the gear that they need from those 4 bosses. Then we'll go back to, or either they don't need it. The Droptimizer says, the gear's not that big of an upgrade for everybody. It could be by the time we kill Sprocket and we look at the Droptimizer, there's only like a couple people that have like a 1% upgrade, and so then we might not do it, because again, it's really more about killing bosses than it is getting gear that we necessarily want. The gear will come, you'll get the gear that you want, but it's more about making sure that we prog through the raid.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was just wanting to know about that, like how we were going to, because I've seen some guilds, it's not until you full clear, and some either put like certain, once we kill this boss, we'll restart again and everything.
Yeah. So far, guys, there's 580 kills on Mythic Chrome King Gallowix, right? And so we're a little behind that. So I think that every time we kill a new boss, we could do a reset, maybe. But that's really up to Koff. He tells me how you guys flow, and that's it. So I do like the idea of like having some sort of milestone Koff that we can then, okay, let's re-clear, you know what I mean? Like, especially if like I would say one of them would be like if the roster changes a little bit, for some people that maybe have never cleared one of the earlier bosses or something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's things can change, but I think the milestones, like since everyone's been here, I don't think we have too many new people. I think the milestones will be for the vault slot.
I think yeah, that'd be great. Okay, so if we can just have those, that'd be good, because I think there is a point where we can then go, okay, guys, we reached this milestone, let's re-clear a little bit, and then continue extending once we get to a wall boss that we have to break through. The tanks up here, guys, I don't give you the same DPS goal as DPS down here. If you guys hit 1 million, super gooch. Okay? So, especially poor little Cano, right? Like it's that's there's only so much you can do, but you're really close to that, Cano, so Pip smashes that, so she's
Yeah,
she's
well,
really
one of the
close to
issues is I know how you judge you come up with those numbers, and I really, really wish you wouldn't use Gallywix as part of that, because I'm not even on the boss half of that fight. I'm out getting bombs, and it really fucks that over.
Yeah, but
That's just the way it goes.
that is the way it goes, and Pip has the same issue.
Pip doesn't get bombs like I do.
It's RNG. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm not like, again, I'm not expecting you guys to, pull massive DPS. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear to you guys. It's not like I'm expecting you guys to really contribute a whole lot to this number, right? Like I'm really expecting is everybody that's not a healer to contribute to those numbers. Yeah.
Oh, I got to do something, because someone was running a key early. They said their tank was pulling 4 million overall for a key, and I'm like, fuck my life.
Okay. So at any rate, so that's what's happening going forward. The other thing that I want to do with the prophets and demigods team. So if you are in those teams, I want you guys to, let me know if you want to eventually make it to this approved bench, right? And what I've done is gotten some clear direction. So I've added this column here, clear direction around who is, reaching the numbers that they need to reach, getting the eye level that they need. And it's mostly DPS, bro. It's, I got to tell you, it's mostly DPS so that we can put you into the bench. If you are someone like, for example, I'll take Gad as an example, right? Like Gad, he, doesn't really want to be part of the Mythic team, but he will sub in every so often if needed, right? If that's fine with you guys, super gooch, that's awesome. That's what we want to, we want to have a nice, healthy bench, okay? It's like me, I don't want to raid the Mythic raid, but I'll sub in if, Val's going to be sick or, anybody else is going to be sick in the heal department, I'll sub in. Sips subs in for whatever characters he wants to bring and is needed, he can sub in for a lot of different things too. So like we want to have that, and then also for the normal, right? For the normal team, we will also have that for the heroic team. So like if you are working on getting wanting to get into the prophets team, there's going to be like a more, a better way for us to align, align to that, right? So like to give you the steps to get there, a little bit more clear on that, right? I will do that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is guild mentorship. So I would like to have some of our Olympians, if at all possible, let me know if you are willing to mentor people like coming into the guild. If, for example, I'll take Fel Justice as an example. He does absolutely crazy DPS. This is an average, but I've seen him hit 3 mil, and maybe he can serve as like the Paladin, Retribution Paladin mentor. And anybody that's coming in, that maybe wants to be at some point, get better and learn how to do this and talk about rotations and specs and all that good stuff. We want to be able to point those people in the right direction with our Olympians because, we want everybody to grow and be better, regardless of whatever team they're in. And so I know that in the past, Ellie has done a lot of that with Grease, basically taught him how to play this class. And so, he's also very knowledgeable about rogues, obviously, but he also knows quite a bit of the classes as well. Obviously, there's a lot of folks in here who have various different, alts, and they can volunteer in that sense. So I do want to make sure that we start doing that a little bit more, which is one of the reasons why I added the reaction roles for classes, because we want to be able to point people in the right direction. And then what I would like to see us do is anybody that is needing, for example, if anybody that's needing a thing, needing some mentoring, you can go into the chat. Yes, I know. That's my time to go. I'm wrapping up. Give me a minute. You can go into the members chat. You can add someone, add a class, paladin, right? And you say, hey, I need some help. I'd like to go over rotation. I'd like to go over specs, et cetera, or maybe enchants, or maybe what gems do I need to use? You can do that for all of the classes, right? We have priests, we have all of the classes. Just use the @ in the member chat. You can also even use it in the public chat, because again, we do have a lot of friends. Okay, we have a lot of friends. So it's not just guildies. We have a lot of people in here, a lot of friends that can contribute. And most especially, I will say, is my former TLP members. Okay, TLP they were TLP long ago. They played with us in our guild here. Now they've gone on to like other guilds or something like that, because I went dormant for a long time. So they ended up going to other guilds, et cetera, and they're also willing to help. Ellie is one of those. Soul, Pinion. I mean, we have so many of them all the time. So even using the public chat and doing an @ priests there, and asking your questions. So make sure that if you guys are interested in that kind of like one-on-one situation, going over rotation, going over enchants, going over gear, going over whatever, utilize the tools that I've provided for you here in Discord. It's really, this is a community. We are a community of people. There are tons of TLP chapters, okay? And definitely something that, we want to be able to bring the little guys up with us. You know what I mean? Not to call anybody a little guy, but I'm just saying we definitely want to have everybody improve and be better, and have a good time playing this game with each other. So make sure you guys are utilizing that. Is there anything I missed from our discussions, officers?
Were we gonna do anything like really highlighting people who are doing really well and like positively for the guild?
Yeah, I think that's something that I think, I really do think that that's something that we should be doing at the raid team level. We also can do highlights on our website too. If you guys, as a matter of fact, if any of our Olympians would like to have kind of like an about or like an interview type of thing, we might be doing something like that on our website, which would be really cool. Because our website gets a lot of hits because of the whole community aspect of it. So that'd be really cool to be able to do. I'll get with Laura on that and kind of really figure that out. I'll leave the last few minutes here because at 7:45 invites are going to go out. But anybody have questions, suggestions? We're really an open forum here. Questions, suggestions, comments, anything like that. I'll leave that open.
Hey, Kombu Smorg here. I guess this is probably directed more toward Koff. I made mention a little while back about like cauldrons and stuff like that. How can we help to make sure that we get stuff like cauldrons and things like that in the Mythic Raid? Because I'm all for kind of making sure we have our enchants and doing our things that we can personally do to kind of bring what we can. But I think there are also like raid-wide things we can do to make sure everybody's more successful too. So I just wanted to ask about that and see what we can do.
Yeah. So I mean, let me see. For alchemy, I thought I had the potions one. I have I mean, I'll get that. Actually, I can get it
I
right
have
now,
the potions one if you want me to start doing that cough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually just looking at my knowledge points. I just haven't spent them, so I can get them actually like kind of right now.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm happy
but
to
yeah,
help farm mats and stuff like that. Like just knowing what we need to do to help contribute to make that happen too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just really just making sure. So I have the flat, or I have the whatever the expensive thing is called, the Crystal Forge Cauldron.
Yeah,
but
because
it's
that's
really
soulbound,
just-
right? Like, or warbound, I think.
Warbound.
Yeah, that piece is warbound. So we just got to get you some money to buy more. But other than that, I mean, it would be great for us to get in the habit. I know that a lot of people on Saturday nights, they go out, they have fun, but we also, like, our weekends are really sparse. But the last few weekends on Saturday night, we haven't really been doing our beer and bullshit. But we can utilize that time, if anybody cares, to like just sit down and fish. Fish for us is big because that's what's giving us our feasts. So if you want to do that and just take an hour and sit with your guildies and toss back some brewskis and just go out there and fish. Anybody can fish. It's free. Go out there and do some gathering for an hour, right? Like whether that's, the herbs that we need to get all our cauldrons. If you're a jewel crafter, the gilded vials are a big deal. Those are probably pretty expensive, so we may need to farm the mats for that. Even if you put in 10, if you get 10 and you just throw them in the zero tab, the drop off, like that's going to help us offset those costs, as well. Yeah. I still haven't sold one of our myth level BOE pieces. I'm still trying to sell it. But the value is going down and down. And I also have a hero piece I'm trying to sell. So I still have some things to sell to put into the guild bank. Also, just a note on that, I want to make it very clear, guys, we have to get all of our add-ons. I forgot to mention this. This was a big deal. We have to get all of our required add-ons. Weak auras, yes. You don't have to utilize everything in weak auras, but you do want to get weak auras for certain things that we have written up that we want to distribute. That might be helpful. But method raid tools, everybody needs to have method raid tools. These required ones, right? I would even get simulation craft because it just does make getting your vault, your wish lists updated more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want, Danny, I'll work on the shaman some this week because I can get a bunch of points easily, and I'll go ahead and get where I can make the rank 3 vials on it for y'all.
Yeah, so I guess my suggestion with that, like helping us to be more successful when raid night comes in with consumables and stuff, for the stuff that we need, the cauldrons and everything, feasts. If we can get like a list of exactly what we need, or like a panel that shows we need these kind of herbs, these kind of fish.
You just go to tlpguild.com.
Yeah, just have it in multiple places too.
Well, the reason why we go to the WoW here in guild crafting is because our website has the ability to tell you exactly what the mats are.
Yeah.
Right. So, repair bots also great to have the repair bots. The irresistible red buttons when we don't have, things like that are always great to have. But here's all the cauldron stuff. Yeah. What else?
Does that show the materials you need to make those?
Yep. You see it right there. Okay. Fresh fillet, 200. Chopped mycobloom, 100. Right? Yeah.
So I can make the hearty feast, but I'm poor, so I can't afford the actual
mats. Yeah, no, totally. So like that's like when I gave you the that's taken out of the guild bank, right? So like we buy it with the guild bank, and I gave you like 60 for that week because Solar was gonna not be there that week. So like I that's what I do, right? So I can definitely do that. Other things that we need are the mana oils. A lot of people use that. Jumper cables. A lot of people, utilize to get that. We have whetstones in the guild bank. We have weight stones in the guild bank. I think we have Beldars. I think Mez put in a couple of the, he restocked from some of the mats that I provided for him. We have some deep toxins in there, and the Beladar's Grace. Tab 0 is that drop off, guys. So like, if you want to just contribute mats. It's really great. And I, this I'll put into, just TLP-guild/wow/crafting. And it's got everything in there.
And I'll like I said, I'll get to the rank 3 this week on the shaman for y'all and start putting those in the guild.
Yeah, actually, I did not put that in here, so I do need to put that in here. So I will update that to include what the mats are for the gilded vials.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Not expensive.
Hey, I can tell you the flask cauldron and the potion cauldron, level 2 mats. It takes about 350 ingenuity to make it to a level 3 flask and potion cauldron.
Mm-hmm.
It is massively cheaper to do it that way.
Yeah. That's how I do it. So rank 2 vials, rank 3 vials, both of those we can do. Put them in there.
All right, yeah. Like I said, I'm gonna work on the shaman this week, jewel crafting, to because I don't have any points in the vials, but I'll go ahead and start shoving points into that and start throwing vials in the guild bank. Because if I remember, it doesn't really take much to make vials like mat wise. I get it from just grinding the stones. I might.
Yeah. And
glass and ambivalent amber, it's not much.
And just so you guys know, for the demigods, there's a couple of Sundays that we have shuffled starting next month. So there's a couple of them that we've shuffled down to Mondays because we are making room to run some of our like on Sunday the 1st, we're going to be running some of our achievement runs. That one's going to be the Wrath of the Lich King one. And then on the 29th, we're running the Undermine one. And then the 15th, I moved it down because June 15th is Father's Day. So just like we did for Mother's Day, we moved that down. So we moved that over to Monday. So please do be aware that some of the normal raid is going to be on a Monday. Okay. All right. Anything else?
Danny, did you mention that we're not going to do the Sunday raid anymore?
Oh, yes. Yeah. So like the former recruitment one is null and void from here on out. That recruitment 10-man we're not going to use that because I literally can recruit more with I can recruit more with the normal raid, which is how we found some of you guys that are newly joined here. Tiz and when Lewis comes back, we will be working out better strategies on recruitment than that, because it didn't quite really work out that as we had hoped. But we are always willing to try something new, right? But yeah, so that's null and void for Sundays.
Do you want me when I start running like these keys on the weekend when Cough's not here for people's vaults, if we have to pug some spots, if they're good, trying to see if I can get them going?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of that anyway. There's a lot of people that are doing that anyway, right? But also just know that means that for the Olympics, for the Olympians, the Sunday day may become a pickup day. So like if you are within 10% of killing a boss, I fully think that you guys should then have a pickup day on that Sunday. And have everybody come in on that Sunday. Cough, right? We want to be able to have a pickup day.
Yeah, it's but at this point I don't think it's going to be
a permanent
expected.
Thing.
It's just going to be yeah. Like it's.
And we'll give you
mainly for progging, like if we're close, right?
Yeah, and we'll give you guys some heads up on that. Like we'll say, okay, on Thursday, we'll say, oh darn, we got really close. Who's up for pickup day on Sunday? And it'll be same time, again, same time. And we'll have that discussion on that Thursday. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Thanks for that cough. I forgot about that one. No. All right.